What is going on, everybody? How are you all today? I know this is kind of last minute, but we are in Nashville, Tennessee, and I'm just kind of doing this quickie. We don't have our usual awesome setup and our usual awesome everything. Well, we do. We just don't have time to hook it up yet because we've been running around doing all kind of stuff today. And yeah, so I just wanted to say hello. I'm actually currently at Runway Audio in Nashville, Tennessee, where all my awesome cables come from, and the cables that I, recommend to you. So, yeah. Oh, hang on. There we go. So yeah, that's the deal. I don't have anything special today. This is literally because I do this every Tuesday. Hang out with you guys and say what's up, and talk about anything you want to talk about. Some questions that came in over Instagram or over the internet over the week, and actually, I do have a couple that I want to talk about because they were kind of interesting. So let's get to those. And if you have any questions, get in this feed. One of the main things I want to talk about, kind of a big change actually. So we had our podcast called the Just Gonna Say It podcast right there for a while, and we had guests and we had all this kind of stuff. In fact, Austin from Runway Audio was on that podcast, and it was pretty awesome. So we're gonna just make this Tuesday thing the Just Gonna Say It podcast, and what we're gonna do is I'm gonna strip all the audio out of these. I know today's not the best, but we're gonna strip all the audio out of these things, and we are going to make them the Just Gonna Say It podcast. And then what we're gonna do is when we have guests, we're going to pre-record those in addition to this one, and we're going to release them early on Patreon, all that kind of stuff. So this is going to be an every Tuesday thing at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, 3 p.m. Central, which is where I am now. And yeah, so that's cool. Is this the new gear thing? EQD is going to have a new pedal. Nope, that's tomorrow. Tomorrow is Wednesday. Tomorrow we do gear news on Wednesday morning. A couple of interesting questions that came in through the YouTubes this week. This one comment came in I thought was really funny. I would be the worst guitar reviewer because I don't notice anything. I laughed at that at first, and I was like, "You mean you don't notice any? You don't notice anything when you pick up a new guitar?" But that's really cool, actually. That's actually kind of cool that you don't notice anything, that you would actually just play the guitar without bothering with it, without messing with it, without worrying about it. Just play the dang guitar, right? Like we talk about that all the time. So I really liked that comment, actually. So I wanted to bring that up. I thought that was really cool. And then let's see, a couple other questions that came in over the week, or comments that came in over the week, that I thought were a little bit interesting. Hang on one second, and I've got them here. I'm a little unprepared today because the goal was to get to Nashville, to be in my hotel, to have some time to prep for this. We got up at 4:30 this morning and drove here and had a pretty full day that we could not really ignore because it's actually a business trip for Leslie, and then I'm meeting with Austin and doing a bunch of other stuff. So yeah, so if you have questions about guitar stuff, about what we do, please get in the comments and let me know. Somebody asked me if I play guitar. No disrespect, just curious. Full disrespect to you. Have you watched any of my videos lately? That's all we'll say about that. Somebody also asked about pickup wire size. So it seems like the pickup wires are so tiny. I can't help but wonder if those tiny wires choke out a little bit of the milliamperage, which might affect dynamics. Smaller the wire, the more voltage needed to push current through, keeping things the same. So the voltage is not what pushes. Current is what pushes. And there's actually hardly any current in a guitar pickup at all. It is only millivolts, but the thickness of the wire isn't necessarily to push a voltage. Remember that the pickup is a transducer. So it is changing pickup, how do we say this? It's changing motion into electricity. So we're not worried about, we're actually creating a voltage. We're not actually pushing a voltage, if that makes sense. So we're creating a voltage where there was none before. So you're using inductance to do that. And if you were to have bigger wire, it just makes different inductance. That's why we change wire gauges when we change pickups. So it's kind of cool. Yeah, man. That was an interesting observation. I love the fact that he was really trying to figure it out. But it's just an interesting thing to understand, or try to understand. Let's see. Leslie, please don't leave Dylan ever alone again in these live streams. There's too many stereotypes. Hey, man. Everything I said in that live stream when Leslie was not here is absolutely true. And I think sometimes guitar players can't handle the reality of their own hobby. That's all there is. That's all there is to it. So, sometimes there's hard truths in the world that we have to hear. We have to hear hard things sometimes. Got a new pen today. Microtech. So it's like a bolt action with a little side button thing. Kind of cool. So yeah, there you go. Anyway, new pen. You can't handle the truth. I totally tell you what, there are a lot of people in the comment section that cannot handle the truth. That is no lie. No lie at all. Because, a lot of the stuff we talk about here is, I don't know, everything. There's a lot of opinions. Obviously, we all have different opinions about guitar stuff. But, I think the biggest problem is people are so narrowed on their perspective that they don't see the rest of the world surrounding. So when you say, that a guitar is too expensive, or that guitars are too expensive, or, one of those things, they're not. You're just not willing to pay the money. That's all there is to it. I am slowly getting used to the new pots that came on my Bonneville pickguard. Can you please provide some tips to better understand what to expect from the taper? Yeah, so they're going to be really long towards the top. So you're going to have a bigger distance from like 10 to like 6, and then it'll get faster as you turn down. Here's the reason. To me, if you have this much adjusting room, then you can put it anywhere in that. You know what I mean? If you only have this much adjusting room, it's a lot harder to adjust within here. So that's what I like. Are you going to do a review of the Blackstar Amped 1? If they sent me one, I would. I am not currently buying any more amplifiers. I am waiting for the ones that I already bought to show up. Hey man, when are you going to get a Kiesel guitar? I probably won't. They're just not my thing. I'm not I don't like them. I think they're cool. I like what he does, but I mean, I'm just not that kind of guitar player, I guess, and I don't really have I don't have a desire to have one. So, and some stuff we do get just for reviews, but remember, I have to buy the stuff. If they sent me one, I would definitely review it. But I have to buy the stuff most of the time. And so if I'm going to spend my own money for it, I want to at least be interested, and I'm just not interested. And I think that's something that people also don't realize about, for example, our channel. There's very few people that send us stuff for free. And so for me to spend the money on it. I have to be interested. How important is the right guitar strap? Very important. Depends. Are you sitting up or standing down? Standing up or sitting down? That's the question. So yeah. Let's see. Guitar setup question. I play surf music with a lot of Dick Dale style tremolo picking, aggressive picking on gauge 12. Okay, we only got half of the question. And also, I'm not. When it comes to some of the smaller builders and some of the people like that, I I like to be inspired by a story, and I'm just kind of not really inspired that much by the Kiesel stuff. Just kind of not my thing. Watched your Jim Jr. upgrade video. Any advice or pitfalls before I do upgrade project on the recent guitar Jim Jr. purchase? Not really. Double check the measurement. I don't remember the spec. I think it's a 42. But double check the measurement on the width of the nut because I had a couple tries at that before I got that right. And I don't remember what they were right now. Are you standing down or sitting up? Exactly. So, yeah. If I wanted to make a pickup from 1 or 2 string pickup, can I just remove the pull pieces from all the other strings, or does the coil have to change too? Well, the coil doesn't have to change. The problem is that if you just removed them, you would probably cut the coil wire because it touches inside there. So it's not a safe thing to do that. R3 or R2? I think it's R3, but you can't quote me on that because I can't remember. So tell us, how do you really feel about Kiesel guitars? I'm just not interested. That is how I really feel about them. There's a lot of stuff I'm not interested in. Good. Hey, how you doing, Alex? Sorry, I didn't have any kind of major subject to talk about today because, like I said, we're on the road, and this was kind of a last-minute thing to COVID sucks, wipes me out. Yeah, we had a test this morning because of Leslie's work, so no, I don't have it. Were you talking about the new Bad Cat amps that are coming up? No, I haven't heard about them, and I've not heard of CMG guitars either. Building a coronet for a buddy, thinking about your P90 or maybe a humbucker. DAF is still my fave, but do you have a go-to for single pickup guitars? Single pickup, I would do a P90. And if it's a humbucker hole, we could put that humbucker size one in there. That'd be really cool. I dig that a lot. Fender vintage string spacing or modern, doesn't matter. That's a player, that is a setup feel thing. Question about neck relief. Is more or less relief generally needed when using aggressive picking like Dick Dale surf tremolo picking? I use 11 and 12 gauge flat wounds. Thank you. Set your guitar flat. So I'm going to blow your minds here. I've been hanging out with Matt from Texas Toast, and he has a whole theory on this whole neck relief thing, that the whole thing is bogus, and I 100% agree with him after playing with it a bunch. Put strings on your guitar, take a straight edge, put the thing friggin' flat, and play it. It'll work. Dick Dale kind of stuff, you're going to be picking way back here at the bridge anyway, so that doesn't put a huge transverse wave into the string because you're picking back towards the bridge anyhow, so you'd probably be fine. Is there any interesting purpose to your... Hey, Austin.
Yeah.
Is there any interesting purpose for your visit to Runway Audio, or are you just catching up with friends?
All of the above.
All of the above is the answer. And we're not going to tell you about the all part, just the above. Wait, we're not going to tell you about the above part. We're just going to tell you about the catching up part. But we do have some cool things. I just sprung a crazy idea on him like 5 minutes ago while I was setting this up. So we're gonna have to talk about that some more. But we have some pretty cool stuff that I have some ideas, and Austin is always down for some crazy ideas. So it's kind of fun. Do you make 49, 50, or 52 space pickups? We make 50, 52 mostly, and we're doing mostly 50s these days. But we do make 52s, and sometimes we make 53s, but not very often. I mean, I can do it, but I'll do whatever. What can I do if my truss rod bolt is stripped on my Strat? I don't know. Do you need to adjust it? I mean, if you don't need to adjust it, don't worry about it. Have you heard of Zeo guitars? I have not. I have not heard of Zeo guitars. Cool. Tell Austin I love his cables.
I love you.
All right. When I am shielding my Stratocaster pickguard, can I ground the pickguard by putting a sliver of copper tape down into the cavity, even if the cavity is shielded with that aluminum paint? No, I would make sure that you have a hard ground to your pots. So on a Strat, foil it, and well, there's two things. You foil the whole thing, and then take a meter and check your continuity between the back of a pot and the foil. Because the pot probably grounded itself because it grounds to metal when it grounds to the foil. But to be sure, you can run a ground across all three pots, and then off of that, just dab solder it to the copper foil somewhere where it's not going to interact or interfere with the pickguard laying on the guitar. Question: do you like BC Rich? I mean, I did in the '80s, but that was a long time ago. A lot of these guitars I don't have an interest in because I don't really, like BC Rich was a brand that was for a specific time period, in my opinion. And I don't any longer currently have black fingernails or black toenails. Not to say I never did, and not to say I won't again, but I currently don't. So I don't really have a reason to like a BC Rich. And I don't wear eyeliner, so I don't know. I just don't have an interest in them. 50 millimeter tonomatic bridge. I mean, you should be able to get those anywhere. That's pretty much what or the adjustable one. Strip truss rod. It's a female hex. If it's a female hex, StewMac makes a tool specifically for stripped ones. Oh, that's very interesting. I did not know that. I would be interested to see that tool. Yeah, that's interesting. BC Rich and Slayer always go hand in hand. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. So, something about me that a lot of people don't really understand is I like pretty much every kind of music there is, but I don't have a single genre or moment in time that identifies me with that particular genre of music, if that makes sense. I just like everything. So I don't have I think Leonard Skinner used to be cool, but I don't own an El Camino and have a mullet. I just don't. So, just because I like Slayer Slayer is cool, and if they come on the radio, I may or may not forward or listen to them doesn't mean that I'm going to be all into their guitars. Like I don't know. I just don't really do that, actually. Do you have a video about wiring LP pots on a switch? No, but that is something I'm working on. Harley Benton question mark. That is a good question. Harley Bentons are stupid. The end. No need to discuss it. I purchased a pre-wired pickguard. I've never soldered before. If I buy a soldering iron, can I teach myself how to solder well enough to install it? Seems like only basic soldering needs to be done. Funny you mention that, because yesterday we came out with a video. Was it yesterday? Yeah, yesterday. About how to solder an electric guitar. 5 tips to make it easier. And a toolkit and everything. It's really cool. And in the link for that video, or actually, you can go to dylantalkstone.com right now and scroll down the front page, and there will be a soldering course that you can buy to help you do it. By the time you get done watching that video and that soldering course, I bet you'll be able to solder anything in a guitar. I have pretty good confidence in that, as long as you have a good soldering iron. And we give you a list of tools to get so that you get the right stuff. It's not expensive. $40 soldering iron, you know what I mean? Like, not super expensive stuff. But I think you'd dig it. I think you'd for sure dig it. And I think you should. I think you should learn how to solder. I think everybody should learn how to solder. Whether they use that course or not, that's not what I'm saying. But I think everybody should learn how to solder, because it will, well, it'll make your hobby more affordable, and it will also, you'll know your guitar better. You know what I mean? Like, that, to me, that's the most important thing. Yes, I have played the new Rev Stars. I have. Hey, Mark Stanton. Yeah, they're cool. I like that Yamaha stuff. I think it's neat. I think it's neat. Seems like a waste to have $100, spend $100. You know, it's the whole teach a man to fish sort of thing. You know, I think it's important to learn how to solder, because if there's a little problem, it's a 5-minute fix. You know, output jack, something like that, where you'd have to like go make an appointment. You'd have to do all the thing, take the thing over there, be without your guitar, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I think having the skill is the thing. Let's see. Harley Benton's don't suck. You're just hung up on it for a stupid reason. You don't like that they're decent and not a lot of money. Oh, I like a lot of guitars that are not a lot of money. Um, and I like a lot of cheap guitars that are decent. I own a bunch of cheap guitars that are decent. Um, I think that it's a little out of line to say that my reasons are stupid, because if you like the guitar, I'm not going to tell you that your reasons for liking the guitar are stupid. And I would encourage anybody who feels that they need to buy one of those for themselves to enjoy the hobby, that they should do it. I don't personally support the business, and I will not. You know, so yeah, no, I wouldn't tell you not to do it. I'm not going to. Yeah. Um, is the idea of a powered variable magnetic field pickup a non-starter? Um, kind of, because an electromagnet in a pickup is backwards from the physics that you need possible. The closest thing to that, I would say, would be a sustainer, because a sustainer is an electromagnet next to a guitar pickup with a variable power that then gives you a few different types of ringing sustain by imparting motion to the string. Really, really cool technology. Useful if you play the kind of music that supports a sustainer, or if you figured out the way to use it. So the technology is there, but it's to do the opposite of what we think of when we think of a guitar. We're trying to take motion and make it into electricity, not the other way around. And with an electromagnet, you're going to create motion but we create the motion with our hands. So we're kind of doing juxtaposed things, I guess. So the closest thing I can think of is a sustainer to what you're asking. Cool question, though. My worry is about soldering is the fumes and my rather overactive asthma. Okay, so in that video, yesterday's video, and in the class that's in the links, there is a list of tools. And in that list of tools is a little box. It's like $30, and it's got a fan and a filter, and it sucks the air. It sucks the solder fumes out of the air so that you don't breathe them through a charcoal filter. And you just put it real close to your work, and you just use it, and it just sucks it through it. And it really minimizes on the amount of solder smoke in the air. It really works well. We have a like one of those air purifiers at our house, and it like is sensitive to how dirty the air is. So like sometimes like when you vacuum or you sweep and you kick up a bunch of dust, you know what I mean? That thing will like go off and it'll start going crazy. When I solder, it will start going off and go crazy. But since I got that little fan, it doesn't do that anymore. So I think it's doing a pretty good job. Neodymium magnets are a gimmick? Question mark. No, I don't think they are. I just personally haven't found an application in a pickup that I like, that I feel like fits what we do, if that makes sense. But a lot of people, bass players, use them. A lot of bass, custom bass pickup guys use them, for sure. Yeah, I want to say it works really good. It's super cheap too. Um, yeah, Austin has one actually, right? So see right here, that box, that black box right there. That's what that is. It's a little fan, and he just puts it in front of himself, and it pulls the solder away from him, and it filters it out of the air. Works really good. I am not a doctor, so I cannot tell you what solder smoke does to you. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it makes you go sterile. Does lead-free solder make the fumes safe? No, it does not. And it stinks to high heaven, way worse than regular solder does. I hate it. Are any other wires worth using, like aluminum alloys or samarium, neodymium to offset? Um, Here's the problem with other wires. The cost of them and the ease of working with them. It becomes really labor intensive. You know, like Seymour Duncan has those silver pickups. They're $1,000 a pair, um, and they're very difficult and expensive to make. And I think it's the scalability of it. I suppose anybody could make one of something with some weird wire. Would it sound cool? I don't know. But do you want to do that? I don't know. Is it worth it? Um, yeah, neodymium magnets are cool too. Guitar Fetish is making hum canceling magnets with neodymium. Probably because they're trying to put some high frequencies back in them things. Because usually, um, hum canceling pickups are so dead sounding that they're probably trying to figure that out. It makes sense. It doesn't interest me. The neodymium application sounds cool, but hum canceling singles never interest me at all, ever. So, um, yeah, familiar person. Not in the link to this video, but the link to the one yesterday. Um, in fact, I bet I could really quick. Here, let's just do something. Let's make this easy. I'm going to. I didn't even make a thumbnail for today or anything because of not being prepared to do this today. So let me just pop that in there. And there you go. And we need to let's put a title on today. We're going to make the thing Guitars I Won't Buy. How about that? There, get in the comments. Ask me about any of the guitars, and I'll tell you if I'm going to buy them or not. That'll be today's title. Just because we're on it. Excellent. All right. Familiar person, in the comments to this video right now, the description to this video, I just plopped it in there. I just copy and pasted yesterday's into today's so that you could have that list of stuff. So, and also for anybody else, if you want to learn how to solder, the thing is there, as well as the list of tools is there in the comments down below. I did a 3 humbucker build. There's a reason you don't see it, I think. It's a little pointless, I think. You know, the thing about it is, the reason a neck pickup sounds different than a bridge pickup is because, well, you can design them different to make them sound different, but the physical location in the guitar is this far apart, or this far apart, or this far apart, right? And where it lands in the scale length in relation to the bridge or relation to the center of the scale affects how it sounds. So when you put so many pickups in there, then the differences between them become subtle. And I think it gets a little less relevant, if that makes sense. Yeah. Thanks for coming and hanging out, Robert. Hit the like button before you leave. Yeah. Yeah, familiar person. If you have another guitar that you want to work on, learning how to solder is the jam. It's fun too. Once you get it, it's a thing. It's a thing. It's probably my favorite. I like it better than actually winding. How about that? I actually like to sit and make wiring harnesses. I love making Strat loaded pick guards. When y'all order Strat loaded pick guards, it's my favorite thing. I really, really enjoy doing them. They're a lot of fun. I hear you can get a passive coil that you hook up to your pickups and it will cancel the hum without changing the tone of your pickups. Not sure if it's something being mass produced though. You can do that. It does help. Stevie Ray Vaughan had a half of a P-bass bobbin inside underneath the pickguard of his guitar. It actually ended up in John Mayer's guitar later. So that does work. Whether it doesn't affect the tone is another story, but it does help. It can, depending on how it matches up with the pickups that are already there. Mark Gutierrez. No, I've never watched him before. No, never have. No, awesome. Man, I feel like I've been up since 4:30 this morning. I'm trying to think of anything else I want to tell you. The biggest thing is this is back. We're going to strip the audio out of it. I'll do it tonight so that it'll be for a podcast for tomorrow, like I mentioned. And we're going to keep doing it. And we're going to keep having guests and stuff, but I didn't want to not do this, if that makes sense. One of the things I need to try to do is be a little more complete about what I'm saying so that when people are only listening, they can get it. Also, the video will be on Spotify for the podcast, just kind of the way Spotify works. So that'll be cool too. I get more hum from my fuzz face and amps gain than I do from Dylan's pickups. Thanks so much. I appreciate that. Quiet is a thing I work on, because I hate noiseless pickups. So when we make our single coils, we do what we can to keep them quiet. And I'm actually working on a project with an artist right now that I'm not ready to talk about yet, but we're working on something that I think you're going to dig quiet-wise. It's going to be pretty cool. So, yeah, man. John Sir does a dummy pickup, yeah. He does a dummy coil. Yep, he sure does. Well, cool, you guys. Hey, I'm about out of gas for the day. I know it's a little shorter today, about 40 minutes. I do appreciate everybody hanging out with us for a few minutes, and I am in somebody else's place, so I want to let them get back to work as well. Make sure you check us out tomorrow, Wednesday morning or Wednesday at noon for the gear news, which is going to be coming out at noon like normal. And then we will see you on Thursday back in Augusta, Georgia for our live stream, I think. I'm pretty sure. So thanks for hanging out, and we will see you tomorrow.